Look, we're in this out of the ordinary lounge area. I don't know
Hey,
how else
everybody.
to put it. Hey, aloha, everybody. How's it going? Tom here and Nick. You guys were trying a new setup, so it'll be a little bit of a different show.
Yeah.
You guys should put in the comments that you can hear us, that you can see us.
Yeah, hopefully we don't have too many technical difficulties. You see the comments in the corner over there? I mean, well, no, there are none yet, but they will be appearing there.
Yeah.
I tried to get it to look like we were looking at the camera as much as possible.
Okay, so
yeah.
So you guys should see this crazy setup we have here now. There's like gear everywhere. There's a huge big screen TV on the other side of the camera, so we can see you guys. Hey, aloha, Patty.
Hey, Patty.
Doug says, looks good, sounds good.
Oh, wow. All right.
Awesome. Yvonne, welcome. Jacqueline. We might need to pull that browser up so we can.
Then it'll look like we're like.
Yeah. There's Natalie, James. Yeah, look, Nick has been working hard getting all this stuff set up and ready.
Yeah, I've just been reading all these books here.
Yeah. He's got a nice what do they call these things that put out the scent? It's putting out, what did you say it was? Bellagio. I walked in, it's like dim lighting, incense burning. I didn't really know what was going on at first.
It's not. It's what do they call that? What do they call it, kids? Diffuser. There we go.
Yeah. I have one of those in my office, but I haven't used it in forever. Like, it sits over there. I used to put like peppermint in there. Mm-hmm. It would help me get like, it would wake me up to like stay focused working and stuff. But man, I haven't used it in a long time.
It's good. This my problem. This scent is called Bellagio, and I got it because when I went to Vegas, I went to the Bellagio. I went to the Bellagio. Somebody said they couldn't hear me very good. When I went to Vegas, I went to the Bellagio and I was like, wow, it smells great in here. And I think they do that on purpose.
Yeah,
right.
They're
like,
yep,
it's like psychological warfare. So that's what I'm trying to do to, everybody in the other room there. We're thinking money, right? We're thinking money.
Yeah, I see you wore the shark shirt.
I wore the shark shirt.
I didn't wear mine. I had the t-shirt. I was like, nah, I'll wear this one instead.
Yeah. Well, so here's what happened. I got to the office this morning a little early, not that early. And I thought, well, I have these chairs here. I should probably set this up for the live. And then Tom and I got on StreamYard, and he's like, should I come down there?
I was like, dude, look at that setup. Like, do you have a space for me? Like, I'll just come to the office.
I had the empty chair, and here we are.
Yeah, so I jumped in the Jeep and rushed down here.
So, yeah, hopefully, I think we should do more of these in this setup.
Yeah, like, I think this is nice. Like, what do you guys think? I mean, it's a little better look than just two heads on the screen, right?
Wow.
Oh, look at Patty. She made over $1,000 in Etsy mask sales before breakfast today.
Wow.
Woo! That's awesome, Patty.
Patty, that is. So are you running ads, Patty? How are you doing that? And yeah, James, this is the shirt. I didn't opt in to get the shirt. Megan, it's the Bellagio minus the cigarettes. It's just the yeah, it's good though. It smells good, right?
It does smell good. Yeah. I mean, I wish you guys could see this whole. Nick will take some pictures. I wish you could see the whole setup. It's really, really nice. Really nice. Well, awesome. Well, we're super excited you guys are here for this new format. Obviously, you can see, like, look, this is a good example of how we operate, right? Like, put things together and then just roll with it and see how it goes and then adjust as we move. I don't know who the Facebook user is.
Yeah, we love to hear exciting stuff. Share it with just let us know. What do you got?
Let's see what it is. Hey, aloha, Don. Aloha, everybody. Awesome. So why don't we go ahead and start off with some shark shout outs, and let's do that. I'm gonna pull over. We're not gonna pull them up on the screen this time, but have them on the iPad so I can read them. So our first shark shout out today goes to Sandy Alexander. So congratulations, Sandy. Sandy, she made a post in the group about a website deal, a proposal, like a website client she was working on getting. And then she just posted that she was able to close the website and she got the payment. She says, "Yippee! Not big money like us." Well, I mean, we all started.
Yeah,
we all started there, Sandy. And but it is her first website client. So she said she's terrified too because right out of the gate, WordPress is giving her an error message. That's usually how it goes.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Yeah, you're not alone. So awesome work, Sandy. Awesome work. So first clients, that's a big deal. I mean, the first client is a big deal, right?
Somebody said, "Why is Nick wearing a shirt with minnows on it?" For some reason, and I can't see who it is, but I'm guessing that's Brian. I'm guessing that's Brian Anderson. Is that you, Brian? Log in. Stop lurking in the background.
I thought they were studying. It may be him. I don't know why it won't let me go over there. Well, shoot. Let me go back.
Jacqueline says, I haven't been on Facebook this week because I'm working at building the website for a client. That's awesome, Jacqueline. I mean, I spent a lot of my early days building those websites and learning about all that stuff. And, till this day, I use a lot of that information and that skill set that I grew, and I still use it. And it's really important. I think a lot of people, what they do wrong is they get it in their head sometimes like, hey, I need to outsource right now. But it's difficult to outsource something if you don't really know exactly how to do what you're doing. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's a lot easier if you kind of know what you're outsourcing, like what goes into it. So, good on you for keeping up with that and putting in the hard work that it takes to learn that stuff.
Yeah, I'm sorry guys, I'm listening, but I'm also trying to log into.
No worries. I'm just going to read some of these comments here because there's some good ones coming in. The minnow comment was Jeff Tompkins. Okay, Jeff, I see you. Jeff. Zachary Smooth said last night he got a message from a guy who wants a logo for his podcast team, and he also works for Sports Illustrated. Wow, that's amazing! Congrats, Zach. I see that you've been doing a lot of app work and doing some a lot of logo creation. I saw you had like a buffalo logo recently that I thought was really cool. And Mike Long is in the house. What's up, Mike? How's it going?
Hey, aloha, Mike.
Leo Molina, how are you? Good to see you, Leo. Let's see here. John says, I'm curious, what are the binders on the bottom shelf? These are not binders. This is, you can't look at that, but these are, I'll show you that later.
Yeah.
These are actually, can I show them this?
Yeah, these are so you remember Clickfunnels? They had a thing called Funnel University, and it was like it was digital online, and they sent out this print newsletter where they broke down different funnels online and stuff like that. And so when I very first started, when I very first did my first product, I bought Clickfunnels and I got into this Funnel U thing, and so they've just kept coming. So we go through them, but they actually just canceled Funnel University. So it's you. Now
these are collector's items. You can't get these anymore.
They're collector's items now. Yeah. But you have if you have a Clickfunnels account, I think I forget what they call it now, the diamond or whatever. But if you have that account, you have all the digital versions of these in your membership. They're just not doing the print anymore, and they're not making any new issues digitally. They're just going to be there's 52 or 53 something. Issues.
I saw that Cameron is on the call with us. Cameron is probably eyeballing those.
Yeah,
Cameron
probably wants to read them.
You want these.
Yeah, I was just at my friend's library and I saw a paperback version of this. I almost got it for you because I couldn't remember if you had one or not.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah,
this is a good one. You guys seen this one? Also a collector's item.
That's a classic. I was able to get on here and find our other shout out, and it goes to Mark Bustamante. Hope I said that right.
Yeah,
Mark Bustamante. He said that he's super excited. He actually jumped in on the Rep Kahuna deal about a month ago, and he said he just signed up his first client on the Gold package. So he's super pumped. So way to take action, Mark. That's awesome. Way to go, man. Way to go.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, reputation, as you guys know, I mean, that's why we put that together. It's just such a timely and relevant service to be offering right now.
Yeah. So that was those were our two shout outs for this week. And then we've got some popular posts and some popular questions. And of course we have our member of the week. So I don't know what's the best way. What do you want to do, Nick? What do you think?
You brought your book, right? Let's talk about that book.
I did. Let's do the book. All right. So I'm going to put down the iPad. So
yeah. We're gonna get this set up a little better. We're gonna get some tables. We're gonna get the Bluetooth.
Like I had the iPad on the table over here, but the cord was so tight. I was like, oh, it just looked not. It didn't look stable. Today
we're ghetto fabulous. They call that.
Yeah, but hey, man, like this is the way you do things in business, right? Like jump in with both feet, figure it out. So, all right, yeah. So this week's book is actually a totally different book than I originally planned on talking about, because last week I mentioned I had been doing these new kind of workouts and stuff. And I was reading a book like on the mental mindset part, and it's pretty like, I don't know what to say. It's a pretty serious business book, right? Like with a lot of, that was what I was going to talk about this week. And then I finished it and I had this other book to read next, and I enjoyed the next book so much that I was like, that's it. We're talking about this book this week because it's got just a lot of great stuff in it. So it's by a guy named Jesse Itzler, and it's called Living with a Seal, 31 Days Training with the Toughest Man on the Planet. And I have to tell you, like, I really got this. I didn't even think this was going to be a book that I would even talk about on our lives, because I just got it because I was interested in it, right? And I started reading it. Number one, I started laughing. Like I was literally laughing out loud through the whole book. My wife was like, "Can I read that book when you're done?" Because like it seems like it was really good. And so she's reading it now. But the other thing that really surprised me about it was there's a lot of really gold business advice in here. Like it's this story of how he hired a Navy SEAL. So I didn't know who this Jesse Itzler was, but apparently he used to be a rapper, and he even appeared on Yo MTV Raps. And then he started a private jet company called Marquis Jets. And he's actually married to the lady who started and founded Spanx. For all you lady sharks out there, you probably know what Spanx are. And so the book is like he hired this Navy SEAL to live in his Park West, like uppity building for 30 days and train him. And the SEAL goes everywhere with him, to business meetings, to his office. Like the SEAL is always with him. And so there's some really funny interactions that happen because of that. But also too, you know, like it's not just about the training with the SEAL. It's also Jesse talks about just like his mindset in business, and like how he got his first record deal is an amazing story. Like it's an amazing story. And he talks about how his wife started Spanx, which is another amazing story. So there's tons. Not only is it just like super fun to read, I mean, I read it in like 2 days, but it's got a lot of really good business advice in it. And I think it'll inspire you guys to like step up your game a little, step out of your comfort zone, right? And like Jesse says in the book, like he's always says, like, look, my goal, like the reason I did this is because I'm just trying to become better. That's all I'm going for. I just want to be better. And so there's lots. It's very interesting to see how that all kind of plays out. But really great book. You guys are gonna, if you haven't read it already, you guys are going to love it. And it definitely got me fired up to do a few things. I told Nick the other day, I was like, I went for a run. I'm not a runner. And I ran for 2 miles. And I got back and I was like, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to do 100 push-ups before the day ends. And so I was like, but like I was working in the morning, and like every 15 minutes I'd stop and I'd do like 20 push-ups. And then all of a sudden I looked at the clock and it was like 11:30. And I was like, you know, I bet I can do 100 before noon. And so I just did it just to prove to myself, like, if you break it, if you have this insurmountable thing that you need to get done, right? You break it up into little chunks, and all of a sudden, like, you're thinking like, wow, this goal that I thought was a big deal, like I probably could have done 200 or 300 in a day, right? And which would have seemed crazy to me, right? So that's kind of part of the mental thing for me, is like setting up these little challenges. I've been doing it all week just to train my brain to know that, like, hey Tom, you can do more than you think you can, and you just have to look at the goal you want to get, and then evaluate how you're going to get there, break it up into little chunks, and just make progress every day. So and that's a combination out of this book and some other ones I'm reading, which we'll talk about the other one next week because it's really good too. But this is the one for this week: Living with a Seal, 31 Days, Training with the Toughest Man on the Planet.
I just ordered mine. I just ordered a copy of it while you were.
Yeah,
Tom
it's really good.
And it's funny because we do a lot of that with offline sharks. Like we don't really talk a lot about how much work goes into creating, our software, our products and stuff, right? We usually just talk about what we use it for and the value that it brings with you all. But, to do a thing like a launch in our business, like there is a lot of work that needs to be done. If I could show you the checklist that goes into a launch, it's like, it's massive.
The
right?
checklist is taller than me.
Right. And it takes, like in preparation, it takes a month or even, longer, right? Of like every day doing little bits and pieces. You can take that.
Yeah.
I didn't need that.
Yeah, cool. So let's see. I'm looking at some of the. Oh, thanks, Rose. Jacqueline says I could do a push-up. Yeah, well, my thing is like what got me on this whole trek of this mental side of things was that I decided I want to do a pull-up. Like I want to be able to do pull-ups. And for somebody who was like extremely out of shape and recently just started getting in shape over the past year, like this goal of being able to do pull-ups is it's like something I want, right? Like I want it. So that's why I read that it's mainly mental. So that's why I've been like kind of going down this road to be able to do that. So I see there's some other, like James, that book Atomic Habits. Like we've talked about that before on the show. That's a great book too.
Yeah, it's a really good book.
That's a really good one.
Yvonne, yeah, you're definitely allowed to ask AGM questions. I mean, this live, this jam session, this is like our time together to like hang out, just talk, talk shop. What's working, what's not working. Do you have any questions for both Tom or myself? What can we do to help you? I mean, we take an hour out of every week and we come here to hang out and, point out people in our community that are taking action, doing well, popular questions, which our programming this week is a little off because of
we will get to those in a minute.
But yeah, I mean, ask away. Your questions are great. I mean, even outside of marketing, outside of local, outside of getting clients. I mean, Tom's talking about a Navy SEAL workout right now. So
yeah, it's a little crazy. Inspired. I say Navy SEAL inspired because I don't know, those full-fledged workouts are pretty insane. And I'm 47, right? Like I'm 47 years old. Like I have to take that into a little bit of account when I'm doing those things. But I am doing like a lot more than I used to be doing than pushing myself harder.
Heck yeah, you are.
And Nick is like big into CrossFit. Like Nick does a lot of CrossFit workouts, which are like insane, crazy too. So yeah, it's been quite a road. And you know what was really interesting about talking about it last week too is one of our sharks in the group, her husband was a Navy SEAL.
Patty, right?
No, Becky.
Becky. Oh yeah, Becky.
So she reached out to me and she was like, "Oh, my late husband was a Navy SEAL," and I had a nice conversation with her, and so that was like, it was really awesome. I'm like going, what those guys do and what those guys go through is like unbelievable. Like, it's like superhuman stuff. So, not doing anything close to that, but I think there's lots of lessons with how they get through that stuff and how they handle those things that we can apply to what we're doing in our businesses and all that stuff. So, I'm not going to be a Navy SEAL. I'm 47. I'm too old. They won't let me in.
Maurice is asking how the Claim Your Business is going. So Maurice, that has been live for maybe 2 weeks now. So your listings on your AGM site, like if you were to, you got to make sure your theme is updated, of course, but I think it's not even the latest. The latest, we've had a few updates since we rolled out the claim your listing section, but once you update your theme, you'll see that listings can now be claimed on the client facing side of the site. So when somebody claims a listing, you will be notified. They're required to, sign up and give you some information about, their business, who they are, et cetera, et cetera. And you will be notified through your theme. And that is another way that you can, communicate to get this prospect as a lead. Now, we're not using that strategy ourselves, but we listened to you guys, and a lot of people wanted that functionality to be added to AGM. So, by popular request, we added that for you. So I can't speak too much to it because I'm not doing it. Tom's not doing it. I know there's value in it. That's why we implemented it. I mean, Google's doing it. A lot of these other platforms are doing it. So we added it, but we are right now just doing, exactly what we've said from the beginning, which is we're reaching out to businesses through the phone or through email every single day. And we contact about 70 to 100 businesses every single day. And, we're just using this time right now to build, right? We're building a massive audience that, knows us, likes us, and trusts us. And we're sending them regular emails, and we're going to start sending them some videos. And by no means do you need to be doing all those things. Every time you connect with a lead on your website, like that is a connection. But we're doing this like at scale because we're trying to bring all of you with us. We want you guys to see, what is possible with this. So it really starts with just, every single listing that you add to your site, that is somebody that you should be talking to. So if you're not talking to that person, then you're just kind of adding listings to add listings. And I wouldn't get too fixated on that. I mean, I would more focus on talking to the people that you add to your site. And Kristen has a very relevant question of what I just mentioned about using Rep Kahuna in conjunction with their AGM site. So Kristen, any of your leads that come into your site, you can pair those leads with whatever services you're selling. So if you're using Rep Kahuna, if you're just using Digital Profit Machine, if you're using Website Profit Monster, if you're using SSL Sniper, if you're doing graphic design, it doesn't matter. AGM helps you prospect and get customers into the pipeline of your business. Whatever you want to sell them later, that's up to you. So just keep that in mind. I mean, you can use it with anything.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're going to use it with something like Rep Kahuna, what I do is be building the list, and then I'd be talking to that list about those services, like bringing value to them about why they're important, about why they need to implement those things in your business, right? Sending them emails that educate them on all that kind of stuff, give them tips, like all the things that you guys know as digital marketers. Like you see people do that. You get those kinds of emails all the times, right? Like you get on somebody's list, like you get on our list, we send you valuable information, we send you tips on things, we talk about things that we do in our business that you should be doing in your business. It's the exact same thing. You're going to do the exact same thing to the people you bring into your AGM site. So yeah. And I saw somebody asked about PPC versus Facebook ads, which is better. I don't know if there's one that's really better. Like we're just starting to really like dig our fingers into running Facebook ads.
Well, it depends what you're doing.
Yeah, right? It does depend on what you're doing. Yeah.
It depends on what, sorry, I mean,
no, that's good.
So we have, two businesses, right? Or three businesses. We do local marketing for businesses, but then we have our info education business, which is Offline Sharks. That is the most difficult industry to run ads for, period.
Yeah, hands down. Like it's a nightmare.
Yeah. If you can run ads in an info product business, then you are a 100 GM Grandmaster level ninja, Megalodon shark, whatever you want to call it. But the local business stuff, like running ads there is easy, right? It's very easy. The platform itself, Facebook, you can do all the types of targeting that are really great to you, but it really matters what you're trying to do. Like, I wouldn't be running ads on Facebook for a locksmith, right? I would be running ads on Google for a locksmith, because if I needed to get a key fixed or made, or I lost my keys, I wouldn't go to Facebook to find that person. I'd be going to Google. So it's important to be able to like identify where your audience lives, right? So, or your customer's audience lives. So if I have a leak in my house, like I have a broken pipe in my office, the water's coming down on Tom right now and he's getting soaked, right? I wouldn't go on Facebook and be like, hey, does anybody know a plumber? Like I would go straight to Google and find the first plumber that came up, right? So in that case, if the plumber was your client, you want to run ads on Google for that plumber because that's where their audience lives. So it's not a question of which one's better, Google or Facebook. It's where does the audience live and how do you serve that market?
Yeah, absolutely. James said, I was wondering if the AGM platform could be good for creating a listing site for businesses that aren't local, i.e. a listing of children's story podcasts, asking for a friend. Yeah, James, it would absolutely work for something like that. So we have a couple of members that do those things. One, we have Shannon, right, who's doing the MMJ directory and just crushing it with that. We also have another member who has a radio show, and so she built a site around her radio show. And so she brings advertisers and sponsors and supporters of the show, and she puts them on that site. But you could absolutely use it to make a directory of whatever you want, right? Like, I think that would be good.
Yeah, no, it's very multi-purpose, you know. And Megan, I just want to say sorry, Megan.
Why?
Apologies. Remember, she sent us that message. I just wanted to say that. I was talking with Megan yesterday, so I just wanted to give you a shout out, Megan, and say sorry about that.
Oh,
about yesterday, that little mess up there.
Oops. Okay. Let's see. What are questions we have here? I have a mortgage broker request, a new website. My question, which program to use to build this website? You're new in this field. So there's a couple of angles you can do for a mortgage broker, right? So, you know, if you just need to build a basic site, like if they just need a site that has information on them, on maybe their clients, on stuff like that, Website Profit Monster, you could use that for sure. I want to make sure you're not talking about a real estate agent, because real estate agents have a lot of different, like they need different things, right? Most of them want the IDX feed in their website, which is a whole nother level of complication. You can't really do a basic site when you're incorporating IDX. But if you're just, I don't know what kind of functionality you need in the site. That would really determine that, right? Maybe you can let us know.
Nathan's asking about needing to translate everything to Spanish. Any advice for people that need the entire system to run in another country? So, Nathan, you can use the Google Translate plugin, which that is an amazing piece of technology. It's free. You just do a Google or do a plugin search in your website and Google Translate. You'll be able to add a little feature to your website when someone goes to your website where they can select any language they want. And although I do not speak another language, I've been told that it works pretty well.
Yeah, we have a lot of members that use that. Here, I'm going to grab the iPad because we had some popular questions too that I want to talk about. Well, and then what do you guys think of this new format? Like, what do you guys think?
Rose is asking, who would you look for on Facebook? So, Rose, Facebook is something that you could use Facebook for. I mean, there are a lot of things that you could use Facebook for. One of my favorite things to use Facebook for is to retarget on Facebook. So we like to, in the case of the plumber, right? We'll go back to the plumber real quick, where the roof is leaking. I need somebody to come fix that leak ASAP. I go to Google and find the plumber. I land on the plumber website, right? And now I'm pixeled. So when I go to Facebook or other platforms, when I see that plumber ad there, if I'm being retargeted there, then I'm reminded about that plumber, right? That's where one of my favorite ways to use social media ads is retargeting. That's another thing in itself. A great example of just flat out who you'd be running ads for on like Facebook is like an e-commerce business, right? Like we're running ads for multiple e-commerce businesses right now, like suntan lotions, hand sanitizers, things like that, right? It's great because you can, a lot of shoppers, like for those types of products, they can be targeted and they buy off of Facebook. So it's they can also be targeted on Google as well, but that's an example of a good business to be running Facebook ads on.
Somebody said, "How big is that iPad? It looks like a laptop." This is the 12.9 iPad Pro. It is kind of like a laptop.
That's a good question right there. Has anybody attempted to contact a Chamber of Commerce to let them know about your AGM site and see if they would let their members know about an offer or free listing, or do most all of them already have their own directory? So you could 100% go to a chamber and give them all a listing. I mean,
yeah,
that is a great foot in the door. I mean, if you go to BNI, you go to any network meeting. I mean, in commercial, you could say, "Hey, we just started a community resource right now in our area for with the goal to let the community know, like, hey, there have been any changes to your service? Do you have a new product available? Like, there's a lot of changes with everything going on in the world right now. We want to let the community know, and we've given you all a free listing on the site, and we're going to help let the community know what the changes are for your business."
Yeah, I've actually been talking to one of our members who is doing something like that, going to the chambers and having really good response and stuff. He's actually a business coach. And so like we've had quite a few business coaches come and see AGM and they're like, "Oh my God, this is like the best thing ever for prospecting and bringing people into what we're trying to do." So, I mean, it really is. I mean, the system works in that environment, right? That listing is a valuable thing that you can give out and help them out. So yeah, doing that, taking that, giving everybody at a BNI group or in a chamber. Like imagine you could even go in and do a presentation at the chamber, right? And talk about whatever it is whatever service it is you offer, and then give everybody a free listing just as a thing for showing up. Like so many ways you can use it. Let me look at some of these popular questions from the book or from the group. So one of them was Austin. I thought this is a good one. He said that he got a response from a prospect and he's not sure how to respond. So the prospect said, "Hi, Austin, what's your phone number? And we can talk about how you can help me. Also, what is the name of your company so I can vet you?" And then he was saying, "Is there a template for responding to prospects that we can adapt?" So, Austin, I think this is a great question because I think this brings up a couple of good things. And one, there's not really a template because, like, it depends on where everybody's going to be different, right? Everybody's going to have different experience. They're going to have different stuff going on. So, and I dealt with somebody else. I was just talking to somebody else. They sent a ticket into support and I responded to them about this same type of thing. It was a client that asked them to see their work. "I want to see some of your past work." And they didn't have any past work to show. Right. And so they were asking me, "What do I say?" And it's like, well, the first thing that we do is we don't make anything up. We don't lie. Right. Like we need to be honest and upfront with the people that we're dealing with. So there's a couple of things that you can do to kind of head this situation off in the beginning. One is build your own agency website and use that as an example of your work. Okay, like build a website for your business, for your agency. Put up, if you have an AGM site, you can use that as an example of your work, right? So if you don't have any clients and you haven't been able to get one because that's a stumbling block, like just make a couple of sites for yourself, for a friend, like whoever you need to, so that you have some good sites that you can show somebody, right? And then you can just show them and you can say, "Well, look, actually, like I've built this site for myself. I built this site for my business." So like those sites will count. All right. The second thing is you could just take the approach of saying like, "Hey, look, I don't have a site to show you because I haven't gotten a client yet. Like you're going to be my first client, but I can tell you this, like I know what I'm doing. And I promise that I will work my rear end off to give you the best site possible at a great price. And you're actually getting a deal because I'm just getting this business off the ground." So that's another way to go about it as well. Nick, maybe do you have any thoughts or insights on that?
Oh yeah. So what Tom mentioned, those are great examples, and I think I've heard somebody say this. I don't really know who. I don't remember who it was, but the term they call this is like authority hacking.
Yeah.
Authority hacking, I think. And there are a lot of ways you can do this. One of the things that you can do, and especially if you're an offline shark, you can say something like, well, my mentor who owns a 7-figure business, or my mentor who I'm working with my mentor right now who's built thousands of these websites that's generated, X amount of dollars. Or, I mean, you can use Tom and my credibility and authority and say something like that, which, if you're talking to somebody, you can say like, and they're asking you about your portfolio and they're like, well, how many websites have you built? Say, actually, this is my first one, but I'm being mentored by a guy that lives in Hawaii right now, and he has a 7-figure agency or business, and a multiple 6-figure agency, and he's showing me exactly what he's done, and I'm following that strategy to the T for you. And although it's my first website I've ever built, it's why I'm giving you a discounted rate. But you have the benefit of me paying this guy to show me exactly how he's doing it for all of these big brands, and I'm doing that for you. And he's showing me everything he's doing. So that, like, if somebody told me that, like, oh, like that person is going to show you how to do what they've been doing for them, and you're going to do that exact thing for me, and they're going to coach you while you do it. I mean, that's a powerful, testament to what you're doing, especially if they're getting a deal.
Yeah, a couple of other things you can do too is like you can find, like, if you know what theme you're going to use to build the websites, right? Like you can pick out a few themes that you're going to use. Almost all themes have a live demo, right? Like they have live demos, so you can send them those links, and you just, again, you don't say this is a site I built. You just say I can build a site that looks like this, or I can build a site that's going to look like this. Like you don't say they're ones you've built, right? You want to be honest. But you can show them those, like those demo sites. Sometimes doing that in the beginning like averts that question. And then the final thing you can do is, if you have an outsourcer, or if you find an outsourcer that you're going to work with, or that you can work with, you can use their work the same way. So you can say, hey, give me 3 or 4 sites you built, and now you can show those to clients because you're going to use that outsourcer, right? So again, the main thing is we want to be ethically sound. We want to do things the right way, right? So we don't ever try to go out there and try to make ourselves seem like we did all these websites when we didn't. So, but again, what will really surprise you guys is that that's actually a strong.
It is.
That's actually a strong position to come from. Like everybody, I think people really do themselves a disservice when they don't have any clients and they try to go out and make themselves seem like a big agency.
Yeah.
Like people they more want to relate with somebody in their local area that seems like a regular person, that seems trustworthy, that's going to communicate with them, that can do the job, than they want to interact with some big nameless, faceless company that's just churning out websites like a car factory, right? Like people want to be able to tell their friends, I got a website guy. Like that's what they want to tell their friends, right? They don't want to tell them like, oh yeah, I pay this agency a gazette, like they want to say I got a website guy, and so, or a website girl. Like that's the role that I think that shift in attitude will make getting clients a lot better. I know we all think we need to put this big professional image out there, but especially when you're first starting, just drop that. Just be authentic, be upfront with people, and just say, hey, the thing is, I'm here in the area. Like we can meet at a coffee shop. Can't get that with any of these other places. That's a strong selling point.
I used to tell I remember telling my first client, I think I can build that for you. I think I can do it for you. And that's exactly what I did. Like I learned how to do it, and he knew that I was learning how to do it. And that website, he used for a really long time. And after I built the website, I was learning more about SEO, and I was like, I think I can do SEO for you, And I think that it was, I had to be vulnerable to tell him, like, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I'd be willing to figure it out. And I think that authenticity really came through, and I've had it come through with a few of my early clients. You know, I had a stand-up paddleboard lesson client. I don't know if you remember her, but she really appreciated me just telling her like straight up, like, hey, you know, I'm learning, and she saw that I was trying to build a business and do all that, and she was like, like small business owners, they like to work with and help other small business owners. It's like the key to small business. Like we all shop, like once you own a small business, then you're like much more conscientious about like shopping local and buying from people in your area and all those things, right? You're much more just you know more about, or you're more aware of like small business. And so when you have that authenticity that comes through when you tell people that kind of stuff, especially the other small business owners, they're happy to help you. But I know in our mind it seems counterintuitive, and it can be scary, and you know, you want to be a professional right out of the gate with everything that you do, or no one's going to pay you any money. But it's not. It's a I think it's something we just added, we put in we get in our head on our own, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Let's see. I'm trying to look at the comments here too. Great. Okay. All right. Well, here, let's do another popular question. So this is actually just a good, this was like, I think, a great idea. This was from Susan Nickerson in the group. And she said, on the AGM site, I'm thinking of putting a tab for jobs in the industry my site is about, with drop downs for jobs wanted and help wanted. I think it might add to credibility as a resource. Mine is a statewide resource for a specific industry. Has anyone tried this? So, Susan, I don't know anybody who's tried that, but that is a fantastic idea. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, we're always telling people, like with those AGM sets, I know that we talk about certain things inside the training, and, you know, we have the things that we're doing with the way that we use them, but they really are super versatile. Like, you really, I mean, somebody could really go in and become a real, almost kind of like local brand and celebrity in their area, and a really valuable resource site by adding things like that. I know we have members that have been adding things like, they added a page about nonprofits. So it was like a resource, like you could have a resource page where single moms can get help when they need it. You could have one for single dads where they can get help when they need it. You could have one for, you know, like here's all the place. Like if you're struggling right now and you're in our local community, like here's the websites and the places you can go to get help, to help get you through that. And doing things like that would be a big one, right? Super valuable. And again, also, like they pointed out, would bring some credibility to your site as well, because you're linking to those types of sites.
And you know what? It's actually, I mean, we're seeing it here, like our We Deliver Maui site, right? Like people know about that site here. Like people are regularly like hitting me up, have hit me up, talk about it. I see them in the streets and like, oh, I saw your website. I saw the We Deliver. Somebody
just texted me the other day and was like, Nick Ponte, isn't he one of your business partners? I was like, yeah. They're like, oh, he's the guy behind the Hawaii Thrive thing. That's awesome.
Yeah, like people, it starts to get attention. You know, people see it, and I mean, again, you know, when you get behind a cause that's in the community too, and you just, I mean, especially right now, it's no secret that businesses are getting their ass kicked. So if you can get behind supporting that right now, I mean, people are happy to talk to you. Most people, not every single person, but most people, as Elle would tell you.
Most of them, though.
Yeah, most of them.
Most of them. You just gotta let those kind of other ones, you know, go by the wayside, right? Mm-hmm. Let's do our member of the week, because now I'm gonna turn this around just so you guys can see it on the camera. But our member of the week is Leo Molina.
Leo.
And I'm assuming, Leo, that these are your kids.
Yeah.
They're super adorable and cute.
Leo's with us right now, or he was earlier.
Yeah, well, Leo, man, we've been noticing what you've been doing in the group. We really appreciate it. We love your feedback and input. So congratulations on being member of the week. You get a special prize. Cameron or Shushan or somebody from our team will reach out to you to get that in. So really awesome.
Yeah. You know what? Leo's been raking it up because I just sent him some Cash App money the other day too.
Leo, man.
So yeah, it pays to be a shark, I guess.
Yeah. Hey, we didn't do anything for Cash App, did we?
No,
we didn't.
We didn't. I'll have to think about that.
Here's a couple of Q&A things that that were coming through the comments that I think maybe we missed.
Sure.
Shushan, thank you for putting those in there. That's awesome. So one of them was, I'm going through the AGM training currently towards the end, and I'm confused about website Profit Monster. Is that creating another website to complement the other, or a subdomain in the original, or what? So that is a great question. I don't know who asked this, but I do have the question here. So website Profit Monster is a bonus training and software that you got with your purchase of Agency Growth Machine. It's so funny. We don't even really talk about it in the webinar. It's just kind of there, like when you go in, right? So it's really like an unannounced bonus. And what we use website Profit Monster for, and the reason why we included it with AGM, is because some people need a service. Like they don't really know what they're going to offer these people that they're putting on their influencer sites. And so website Profit Monster, it's a WordPress theme that allows you to really quickly build websites for local businesses. They can't, they're not super complicated. We're not talking e-commerce. We're not talking, sites with IDX. But if a business owner just needs a site that has their images, their content, that looks really modern, professional for their business, you can do these. And that's what we use them for, right? As kind of like a foot in the door. So when we developed that website Profit Monster theme, I went to my BNI group and I took my laptop and I was like, hey, look, if you want to hire me to build a website, it's like $3,000 and up. Like it starts at $3,000, but depending on how crazy you want to get, it can go really high. So custom websites are expensive. But if you just need something that looks good and has the information for your business, like I look at this, I developed this foundation site, and I would show them the demo of website Profit Monster. And I would say, now I can put your images, your content, I can change the colors. But if you're okay with this structure, like just how everything's laid out, then we're good. I can do that site for $800. I think I did them for $500 the first time. I sold 4 at one meeting for $500. So I mean, pretty crazy, right? So, and we've kind of raised the price on those over and over. So that's what it's for. It's really just an easy way to build websites for your clients. They don't take very long to put together. That's why you can charge so little for them.
It's a great service. I think we sold 2 or 3 of those this month.
Like those things are always selling in the background. Like we don't talk about them all the time because there's other things going on, but we're always doing those website Profit Monster sites all the time.
And if we don't use that one, then we have several different themes that we've created to make that same process, just kind of a different layout of a theme. I mean, we use that system, our custom fulfillment themes, I guess you could call them, to regularly, fulfill for clients and make money.
Yeah, somebody says, which should I'll just say a friend, because I don't have names here. I just see the question. So a friend asks, which should I go over, nationwide site or a local site, and why? So that's a great question. We actually address that inside the Agency Growth Machine training. If you go to the very first section, the welcome and intro section, there's like a fast start. And one of the videos in there is about this very issue. Just to give you the short answer, we believe you should start locally. And that's what is going to give you the best chance for success. And then you should expand out from there. So before you start getting, visions of grandeur, where you have influencer sites in every city in the United States, like let's build one influencer site in one city and let's get that one up running, packed with businesses, generating revenue, and then let's build another one. So it's usually easier to do that when you start in your local area. So that's our recommendation for that. Anything you want to add to that, Nick?
You hit the nail on the head. Start small. Start small and don't overwhelm yourself. It's much easier to, like I said earlier, it's much easier to follow up with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 listings that you have added to your site. Like, don't get in the habit of just adding listings to make your site look busy. I mean, you can do that right out of the gate to make it have some credibility and some clout, but you want to talk to all those people. That's the reason you're doing that, right? The whole reason is to talk to those people, have an easy foot in the door. So
yeah,
don't miss out on that opportunity.
Let's see. This says, do you guys have standards when it comes to reputation repair? For example, I had a motel I drive by every day, and wow, kind of bad, but they have 10 bad reviews in their top 10. I guess I'm not really sure what I guess maybe you're asking us like if there's
like they're not good.
Like if there's a business so bad that we won't try to help them.
Yeah.
I don't know that we really have anything set in stone.
That's a good
for that.
Question.
It is
your standards.
It is a great question.
You guys have too many bad reviews. We cannot help you.
Well, I mean, I think like what he's getting at is like,
I like that.
Are you really going to be able to help them?
Yeah.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
So look, like, with a client like that, you would really, I think, in your initial outreach with the client, you would have to. I would take all those bad reviews and then I would ask the potential client, like, what are you actively doing to fix these issues?
Right.
Like, what are you actively doing to, like, are you trying to fix them? Or like, what are your thoughts on these? If they're just like, we don't care, or, oh, we think that's a disgruntled, like if they just don't give a flip, then I probably would not work with them just because you're going to be just spinning your wheels, right? But if they seem like they genuinely want to try to fix it, like then I would just explain to them, like, well, look, this is a something that has to happen in unison, right? Like we need to be responding to these. We need to be talking about what you're doing to fix them, which means you actually have to be doing things to fix them, right? And keep them from not happening again. So and you could just say, hey, look, are you willing to do that or are you not, right? And that's how I would go about it. But I don't know if I wouldn't say I ever look at a business and think, oh, they have. I mean,
too far gone.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if if you're not just talking about their online reputation too, like,
right,
if you
ethically,
hear bad things about a business, like I know I've worked with some clients where I heard bad things about them.
Oh yeah.
But I needed the client, like I wanted the money, and so I had the naive view that I'll be the first person they work with that they don't do that to. Which, by the way, never happens. Like if they're treating other people not well, they're going to do the same thing for you. And so I have since learned when I hear those kinds of things, obviously I always investigate and for myself to try to make an informed decision. Like I don't just believe all the gossip automatically, but most of the time, if you're hearing those kind of rumblings, it's
I have fired many clients. Like I've had to consult with Tom many times about like, hey, I got this crazy client. What do you think I should do? Because like I tend to be act a little irrationally sometimes, I guess you could say, where like I get a bad feeling when I see the red flags. I'm like, well, I don't want to be in that potential brain damage type situation, right? I don't. So sometimes I need to talk about it with my business support network a little bit. But there are a couple of things that I think you could do for some of those people, like that guy that has maybe just a bunch of bad reviews. I do this a lot in most cases of fulfillment. It's about handling the expectation. You wouldn't go to that guy and say, hey, look, we're going to fix your business. We're going to fix, nobody's ever going to leave you a bad review ever again. Like you wouldn't set that expectation for yourself. Your expectation would be more along the lines of like, look, we're going to respond to every single bad review that you have and leave a 5-star response in order to bring in more people. Like it's much more about the response to the review than just the bad review itself, because we all know there are a lot of crazies out there leaving bad reviews, right? So you could say things like that, and this transcends into doing SEO or running ads or all those things. I mean, if you set the expectation of, hey, we're going to do $1 million this month, well, if you don't hit $1 million, they're not going to be very happy with you, right? But if you tell them like, hey, we're looking at bringing in 30 leads and $500 worth of products sold, and you come in at 1,000, I mean, they're going to be ecstatic, right? And that's because you set the expectation low. So I try my best, my very best in almost all cases to always set the expectation as low as I possibly can. And that will, in most times, like leave you in a better situation. Because if you come in at that low expectation, well, they kind of expected it. But when you come in higher, which in most cases you do, I mean, you look really good. So consider that the expectation, you're not going to fix their reputation. Maybe there are some things in their business that they need to do differently. I wouldn't be signing on to fix a reputation and also go fix a business. Like those are two separate things. So you got to keep that in mind.
Yeah. And I think that expectation thing too is also like how you talk to those clients, right? Like a lot of people, because they want to close the deal, like they just put out these wild, crazy things that maybe they can, and maybe, like they always put out the best case scenario, like, or the even better than best case scenario. And I think a better approach when you're talking to potential prospects is to, say things like, well, this is tough. Like you're in a competitive market. Like this is a hard thing. Like I don't really see anybody else doing this. And if you say, well, look, I think a good goal would be, we get 20 new calls from this, and they go, well, that seems really low. You can say, well, like how many calls are you getting from this right now? Which usually they're not getting any, right? Which is why they're talking to you. So you're like, well, if it's so easy, how come you're not doing this already? Right? Like, we want to build up and set those expectations correctly. I don't know why the comments aren't scrolling anymore.
It's because nobody's leaving us any comments. What's up with that,
you guys? They have to be leaving comments.
Nope, they're not. I mean, we got 80 people here. No one's even.
I started thinking like maybe we weren't even live anymore. We were just talking to ourselves.
We're just hanging out.
I was like, maybe we're just talking to ourselves.
Well, we are at top of the hour, you guys, and so I think it's a good time to just kind of ask this question. Then, what do you guys think about hanging out with Tom and us? Like, is this information good information? Do you guys get anything out of this type of discussion, this Q&A, this much more, it's not a very structured format by any means, because we were thinking of, and we were talking amongst ourselves about a couple of things coming up, and we're considering possibly opening up a little bit of a closer format, so we can work much more closely with a few members of our community. So I don't know if you guys think that you might benefit from maybe Tom and I doing a much more like closer mentorship or coaching type situation. I mean, we're considering opening that up sometime soon in the near future, but I'd like to get your feedback. You've heard a lot of the information that Tom and I have. I mean, we have a lot more of that. This is just a little drop in the bucket, of what we're doing on the day to day. So if you think that you would benefit to that, getting more access to that, please let us know in the comments. And I do think the comments are stuck.
I told it, I was like, they haven't moved in so long. I was like, I'm telling you, something is not right with the comments.
So yeah, we can't see your comments right now, you guys. So I don't know what's going on.
Something is not right with the comments.
But yeah, like I said, if we get enough people out there that are interested in us kind of, having a much more hands-on approach to a coaching experience coming up, we're going to consider opening our coaching program soon. So, let us know. I mean, we would like to help you, do things like build a team, get more people that can do sales for you, or do fulfillment for you, or do SEO for you, or run the ads for you, or set up your AGM site, or get appointments through your AGM site. Like all those things, Tom and I don't really do all those things ourselves anymore, right? We used to do everything ourselves, but we have multiple businesses. We have, very busy schedules, and we get help to do all of these things. And we want to show you guys how we do that if you want to know more about that. So, building a business in this way, I think, is the best way to build a business. I mean, it's like,
well, one of the things Nick and I always talk about is like one of the mistakes we made. Like people always say, like, if you had to do it all over again, what would you do? What would you do different? Like, I'll tell you, one of the biggest mistakes that we made early on was not bringing help in quicker. like not, but like we should have been bringing team members on way sooner than what we were doing. And we actually, when we realized that, because we were on a tight budget, right? Like because we were on a shoestring budget, we actually developed a way to do that, to build a team without having to outlay the money first. And so, oh, you can making sure we're on there. Yeah. Nick's like making sure we're still live. So anyway, so that's one of the things that we or that's what we're going to cover in the coaching program. So yeah, we'd love to hear your guys' feedback. I also want to say thanks for putting the likes and the love in the top, and nobody put an angry sign. I don't know if you noticed, Nick, but like the past 3 weeks, one person kept putting this like angry emoji up there. It would drive me crazy. I was like, why are they angry? Like I couldn't figure it out. So anyway, we appreciate the likes and all that stuff, and we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. So yeah, just if you have any questions, ask them here in the group, or feel free to email us at offlinesharks.com/support. And anything else?
No, we're going to button down the hatches around here because there's a hurricane coming in this weekend.
Oh yeah, the hurricane.
We're going to board up our windows. No, I think we'll be all right. I've been seeing these things for a long time around here, but they did it.
Oh no, who did that? Yeah, see, I cursed us by not somebody put the angry thing.
Well, maybe it's because I said hurricane.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
That would make sense. I don't know.
Well, anyway, good call, you guys. We appreciate you hanging out with us. And,
yeah.
We will see you on the next one.
Yeah, cool. See you next Friday. Same Shark time, same Shark channel. And see you in the Facebook group as well. Aloha, everybody.